I think we're going to see a very fragmented market for where the jobs are going to be, and I have no idea what the jobs are going to look like. But I don't think anyone's actually going to hire a prompt engineer. But it's going to be an expectation. Like you can't be a software engineer if you can't write 60 words a minute or more. I know some people do have the job, but I'm like,
Mm.
it's one of those things. Like if you can't reason at a collegiate level for software engineering, how are you going to make it? Like there's certain things that you're just expected to do. If you if you have a hard time dealing with 13 tabs open, if you have a hard time looking at a screen for more than 6 hours a day, being a software engineer isn't the right job for you. And now, prompt engineer, if you have a hard time crafting a good prompt, going back and forth to talk to a large language model, then it's the same thing. It's going to be like, wait a second, that's a basic skill. I'm not, my expectation is that you have it. Um,
Yes.
and and so I think things are going to go that way. What do you guys think?
No, absolutely. I think what you're mentioning regarding prompt engineering, it should be like something that is already expected of someone because we already have so much going on in the AI world. So I wouldn't hire someone specifically with that title as prompt engineer. I would rather hire someone who knows prompt engineering as part of their skill set. It is basically a skill set right now rather than a different job position. Because
Yep.
just think about it. Anyone can be a prompt engineer at this point, right? And what you do with that specific domain knowledge is what will add to your skill set. Like, say, for example, you are a backend engineer, you know, prompt engineering, but that will only add to your skill set. I would
Mm-hmm.
rather, like, if I have two candidates who's one candidate says like he's very good with using AI tools, which increases his productivity, that means he already knows prompt engineering. And there's another guy who's like a traditional backend engineer who uses like he codes everything from scratch and like looks at Stack Overflow and does not use any AI tool. Who do you think I would hire?
It has to be the former.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think apart from that, software engineering roles will be relevant in the future because there are issues related to latency and like deployment of these models and how to effectively integrate that into like application specifics and like
Mm-hmm.
domain specific things. So I think software engineering is not going anywhere. It's just like the nature of software engineering will change. That's what
Oh
I
yeah.
that's what I'm excited about, and I've been seeing it and experiencing it like on a personal level and also seeing it like what's out there right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that,
definitely.
that that's great commentary. And I think the commentary you have about AI engineer or AI, like engineer with AI workflows versus engineer without AI workflows, really resonates. So one very unique thing about Venu is that Venu has a pretty wild streak and activity map on LeetCode and put a lot of time into LeetCode. But in the last 6 weeks since we've been working together and shipping stuff, you're seeing a whole different paradigm, which has looks nothing like that
I like
traditional
LeetCode.
process.
Yeah, I felt more productive working on actual projects, unlike
Exactly.
LeetCode.
Yeah.
LeetCode's not the way, but that's the industry practice, and
I
you're
mean,
forced
if you,
to follow that.
I mean, the industry is rigged, but it's up to like individuals like us to basically rig it in our favor, you know? Like
Mhm.
anyways, it's rigged, right? And I was surprised, like I saw an interview, there was a guy who cracked Google without any lead code. And he was just like, okay, he was an open source contributor. He knew about cloud and he had projects in cloud and all that stuff. So Google hired him. What do you think? Like solving like 300, 400 lead code question, it's good. Like, you know, like how data structures work. But in your real job, I don't, because
Not
I
at all.
haven't, yeah, exactly. You also have worked like in a real company, right? You know, like
Yeah.
data structures algorithm is just like, yeah, it's just stupid to spend so much
E-
time in that.
End of the day, you're going to use collections and libraries that have already implemented it. You're
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
really going to worry much about it unless you're building libraries and frameworks. You're building at a lower level. You're not really
It's
going to use
very,
data
yeah, it's
structures.
very rare. And also, like, not a lot of companies, not a lot of positions are like that. It's mostly like, you have to work on like a large code base. So those skill sets are never kind of like assessed in an actual interview. How do you actually work with other people in a large code base? What is like CI/CD pipeline? How do you deploy stuff? All these things which is important on a business level, they are never assessed. And all this system design, I would say, is still very close to what you will do in a day-to-day life, a day-to-day job as a software engineer, but that lead code part is like no.
Yeah.
No, but I think the reason lead code is being followed is because it eliminates for a position at a FANG or a big tech, for a single position, you get like 10,000 applications. And the
Right,
most
right,
cost-effective way to filter out 99% of the candidates is through some form of online assessment, which is a standardized test. So
right,
if 99% gets eliminated, the company can actually spend time and resource on the remaining 1%. Otherwise, if they don't do the lead code approach, they would have to interview every single candidate, have very specific questions for each and every one of them, so they don't copy or get answers from the internet. That's going to be
right,
more expensive for big techs, and that's why they've
right.
taken this lead code route, and it has worked for them. But now
Yeah.
we're starting to see a lot of cheatings, AI tools right now, which
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
show
exactly.
up in
Yeah.
those screen shares and all that.